Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the music. I mean, for instance, the Schlusschor is so unusual in Bach's whole output because, on the one hand, it starts with a sort of fanfare for the trumpets and the drums. It sounds like a sort of the Stadtpfeife of Halle, sort of coming into the Marktplatz, as it were, and announcing either the election of the new Bürgermeister or something like that. It's prachtful. It's very outward and extrovert music. And then, in typical Bach fashion, he's a composer of such fantasy and such humor. He brings in the choir of woodwinds and the strings in something that's much more crisp and scherzo-like and frech, really. It's something completely taking all the dust out of the wigs, out of the perücke of the town council, as it were. And then you have this wonderful soaring, with great waves of sound in the oboe and the violins. And then, interesting enough, he makes the trumpets, and that's what's hard, to have to not go back to the pompous style, but to imitate what they've just heard in the wind. So, it's very, very hard for the trumpets to tongue that really accurately. And this builds up such a kaleidoscope of colors and different feeling of bustle and of movement, so that when the chorus comes in, Hochster, schau in Gnaden an, it's a sort of clamorous multitude of people saying, look down, O mighty one, on our state here on earth. So but there's a feeling of exuberance and exhilaration, and also a prayer being not something internalized, but being actually a public demand, as it were. I mean, this is music of somebody who was a very menschlich, a very human person, somebody who wasn't a stiff. And I mean, if you look at, I don't know whether you can focus on this, but if you look at this portrait here, I mean, this is the famous Hausmann portrait. And you look, the top half, it's very much the Thomas Cantor, and you can see the perücke, and he's very, very stiff and very much the intellectual and the schoolmaster. But then you look at the bottom half, look at that, look at the lips and the jaw and the nose. It's much more, without the eyes and without the perücke, it's much more human, it's much more sympathetic, it's much more, I don't know, you can feel that the man has humor. And I grew up under this portrait because this is a replica, but all during the war in my parents' house, the original portrait hung in our house all through the war for safekeeping because of the war. And I grew up under that stern gaze. Magic. What a beautiful piece. Great.